The gym, a place filled with muscle. It's only been a week since I joined this gym. Since then, I've already met a cute staff member, a chubby one at that. As he was pulling down on the pull-up bar and his muscles were tensing, we see someone calling him out, saying, "What's up, Karaoke-san?" As his attention diverted toward it. It was a girl who says, "Ripped as always, huh?" The main character says to her, "Hey, dear Shina-san, I owe it to the pull-downs." She says, "I'm glad." She adds, "If the equipment has any kind of issue, rest assured we will fix it right away." The main character kept staring at her with his eyes, and she called him out, saying, "I might be wrong, but it feels like you're staring at me a lot." She calls him out, saying, "Do you have any complaints or concerns?" He says, "No, nothing like that." She replied, "It's barely been a week since you signed up, so for you to notice me this much, something is surely up. I'm sure of it. Please let me know if I can fix it. I will do it right now. As a member and staff of this gym, it's my duty to listen to the customers." He says, "Well, just a little comment regarding your physique. I just think it's curious to see such a chubby gym staff member." We see her rolling her eyes. "I'm not chubby." Both of them were in a stare down at each other's body as she says, "Well, unlike the usual gym staff, I might be just a little bit plump, that's about it." The main character says, "A little bit?" She liked to explain herself, "But just so you know, I am not a chubby person." The main character says, "Sure, go ahead." She explains, "I have been working at this place for a year, but 3 months ago, I started another job at Dissolve. Delicious food over there that was devilishly delicious. The amount of exercise I do just can't keep up with how much I eat. The employee meals, you know." The main character says, "I see." She says, "There are customers who don't fully trust the gym because they can't help but notice me. Even so, I tend to be praised for my customer service. Anyway, I am not chubby." She says, "The most important thing is that you don't have issues with the gym." He explains, "No, not at all." Then we see him saying, "Chubby girls are the best in the world." He says it with a ridiculous face, as she says, "Oh?" She couldn't understand. He explains, saying, "I mean, it's true. Your physique may not be ideal for a working woman in a gym. However, if we were specifically talking about you, a big, round ass, thick thighs that are tight, large breasts that look soft and tender, slightly plump, bulging tummy, well, basic points like those. I'm sure many will agree with me. But what I really love are those arms, the way they push the torso, make them look fluffy, and the creases around the armpits. It's so nice. Many may not share this sentiment, but I wish they were capable of appreciating a chubby woman's charm. Have you ever seen the Western paintings? A lot of the women portrayed in them have pudgy bodies. It means that even world-renowned artists love them. It's a devotion that has transcended throughout history. Chubby girls are a work of art that makes you beautiful, Shina-san." She says nothing as she was speechless, but then says, "This is the first time anyone has ever said something like this to me. Most of the time, people bother me by saying how chubby I am. But even so, I'm telling you that I'm not that chubby." We see her blushing over the main character's words. The main character says, "Thank you very much. There is nothing better than having you here to brighten my day. I'm looking forward to getting along with you." She says, "We're not very good at listening, are you?" At this gym, there's a chubby staff member. Yet another day basking in the beauty of Shina-san. "It's been 8 days since I joined the gym. I'm glad I found this place because Shina-san is here." "Oh," as Shina-san says, "so you moved to this area last month?" "That's right. I work around here," he says. "That's why I started looking for a gym nearby. Anyway, I'm very pleased with my choice," he says, looking toward her. She couldn't understand as someone called her out, saying, "Excuse me, how do you use this machine?" She says, "This is the rotary torso, huh? It has handle seats and weight stacks. It's ideal for working out your waist. However, it does look kind of complicated to use at first. Pay attention to what I do, okay? Thank you. First, you adjust the weight with this pin. Then you sit down with your back straight, press your thighs firmly against the pads. Then, with your elbows close to your body, you twist your torso as much as you can. If from the start the twist is too sturdy, you most likely will end up injured, but once you are used to it, you will fine-tune your form. Just try it." As we see her, kind of in a different kind of pleasure from using this gym equipment, she says, and that is how you use it. Go ahead now. The girl says, "Thank you very much," as she looked toward the main character with a blush. The main character was staring straight at her. She came close to him as she says, "If you stare at me like that, I won't be able to focus on my work, you know?" He apologized to her, saying, "I wish I could look at you like this for the rest of my life." She repeated his words, saying, "The rest of your life? Do you want to see me work here until I'm old or something?" The main character says, "I mean, I can't take my eyes off your chubby self." She says, "I am not chubby." She is not chubby. This time she's asking, what is the meaning of chubbiness? As the main character and she were on the treadmill, the main character was asked by her, "I want to know your thoughts on this so I can prove that I am not chubby." He says, "The meaning of chubbiness? I'm fine with explaining it to you, but aren't you working right now?" "I'm on a break. Don't worry about it." Well then, the main character wrote definition of chubbiness on a whiteboard saying, "Let's talk about it, but before that, we should talk about the reason why I'm fascinated with chubby girls. I think you should leave that for another time. It might take a while," she says. "Go on." The main character started explaining. "All right, for starters, there's something I'd like you to understand. I will say it one more time." She was listening to him attentively as he says, "Repeat after me. Chubby girls are the best in the world." Now she was totally blank about what the main character was saying. She says, "You don't say there it is." He replied, "So, regarding its definition, the answer lies within each one of us." Basically, this is the conclusion and premises. On top of that, weight I personally consider most important is the tummy and the way the fat looks while wearing tight clothing. The beauty of the fat in this area determines the beauty of the other parts of the body. This is my chubby girl theory. She looked toward herself with a blush, says, "I see. Well, if we put it in actual numbers," as she was seeing this, someone called her out, saying her name. This person is quite the muscled up. He says, "What are you talking about?" Both the main character as well as her looked toward it. It was just a bicep. The main character says, "That bicep there just talked." He says, "What's up, Hasegawa-san?" We were discussing the meaning of chubbiness. We see this person is a majestic beauty who is totally ripped down to the bones. She says, "That sounds like a difficult topic." The main character asked her if she is a staff member. She says, "Yes, I am Hasegawa. Nice to meet you." She asked for her to join in on their talk about the cute and chubby Sheena is right. She says no on this proposal. It's more of a debate about what makes someone chubby or not, which has nothing to do with me since I am not chubby. The thing is, Kataoka-san never tires of calling me chubby over and over again. The main character says, "Praising your sublime chubby self is what I do." It looks like neither of you two Hannas are backing down. Is that so? Hasegawa says, as she looked toward the chubby fat of Sheena. She says, "Maybe we should find a way to get an agreement." She thought of something, saying, "Kataoka-san, how about you touch Sheena-san's belly and settle this?" She couldn't understand, saying, "Touch and settle this?" Well, that's the easiest way to find out, but it might not be appropriate, though, since Kataoka-san is a guy. The main character agreed, saying, "It is a bit," but she says, "No problem. We need to believe what they say, right? Just do it gently. I'm not like I'm chubby anyway." The main character asked her if she was sure. She says, "I'm sure, no worries." The main character had quite the sweat, then says, "I feel unworthy, but if I may." He sat on his knees, and then, bit by bit, he took his finger closer toward her belly and then pinched her belly just a bit. She says with a blushing tone, "I never said you could pinch." We see her saying, "Due to this infringement, you are disqualified." Disqualified? But even if it's daring of me, I would like to say what I think. What someone who gets disqualified thinks has no credibility. Hasegawa was just relieved they get on so well. A day to remember, the day I first touched that soft chubbiness. It looked like this time the main character was working in his office, saying, "All right, I'm done with work for today, so I will be leaving. Enjoy the rest of your day." The manager says, "Take care, Kataoka." He says it's such a good and committed guy, and so muscular. Yes, he's a good kid, and a very muscular one at that. It looked like the main character was doing some protein shopping at the 9 Mart nearby. It says, "I will get this for my protein intake, chicken salad coin." We see a banner where 15 grams of protein and only 2 grams of fat. He thinks, now this is a great new product. I have to try it out. He says, "Excuse me," to the receptionist and says, "One salad chicken, please." We see that Sheena was also there and says the same thing. They both look toward each other and were lost. Huh. We see both of them speechless. The main character, who just finished work, had a necktie and muscles that were showing through the dress, and she was on her day off, old t-shirt, love handles. We see that the whole t-shirt was nothing but a transparent cloth, and with it, her entire body could be seen. We see her totally embarrassed by the main character. The main character, who is shimmering, says, "Sheena-san, being able to admire your magnificence outside the gym is just..." She says, "Hey, don't do that here. Let's go outside." As they were outside and eating the thing they just bought in silence, the main character says, "Sorry, I clamped down a bit, but damn, that chicken salad is delicious." She says, "Good for you. Did you just finish work?" "That's right. I was planning to stop by the gym after this. I live nearby." She says, "Me too. Looks like we live pretty close to each other." "Oh, I get it. It all makes sense now. That's why you were supporting the chubby style, right? It's simply lovely if you ask me." She couldn't understand what the chubby style is. It comes from chubby and baggy. In short, it's a style that reflects the nature of everyday life. She says, "There is really no need to explain it to me. It seems like they are very close to being neighbors."